morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Messenger Stan today, and on behalf of Pastor Paul and Reverend Steve, I'm going to do the children's service, and I'm going to try and make it a happy experience. One of the messages today is from someone in the Old Testament, an old fellow by the name of Malachi. And that's a tough name. It's not a name you hear often these days, but it really means messenger. And he gave a message way back before a very special event. And he made a prophecy, a promise, that that event would occur. And surely it did. And that message is a very special message about Christmas. And there were some misunderstandings at one time. They thought maybe he was talking about a fellow by the name of John the Baptist, who was a wonderful prophet himself, but he knew that the special other person that was coming, and who would you think that might be around this season? Who do you think that might be we're referring to? Yes, Jesus. Yeah, very good. And Jesus basically is like what is talked about in Malachi. He's the purifier. And let me first give you something for each of you. Take this and hold it tight. What it is a stone with a little silver in it. And in the service, in the message, it talks about the refiner who is going to come and refine us in the form of Jesus. Did I miss one? Oh, sorry. Here we go. Now, if you really hold that really tight, and I'm giving homework to your parents, so you get the chance to make your parents do homework if they're not doing it. What they should do is YouTube on Google how to refine silver and watch it with you, because it's pretty amazing. And it tells you how hard it is to separate the bad stuff, if you will, from the good stuff. In other words, the sin from the non-sin. And after this whole process takes place, and Malachi said it would be kind of a painful thing, but he didn't know that Jesus brought peace and Jesus brought love. The Old Testament was more of fear and concern. The New Testament was all about love and the replacement of fear by love by Jesus. And what happened was, as you squeeze that metal, it turns into silver, like so. And I hope they have enough for all of you here. I think it works just right. Somebody was a good messenger. Now that silver represents what you're like after Jesus touches your life. Because all of the impurities that the refiner, that Malachi talked about, the refiner who takes all the dirt and the gravel, separates it from the pretty silver, okay? That's what the message is all about. Jesus coming, Christmas time, and spending his life giving us what we call grace. And grace is the best and the greatest gift ever given to us, because it gives us a chance to, just by saying, which is kind of a miracle in itself, Jesus, I accept you as my Savior, you in turn get grace and forgiveness of sins, because later on in his life, he gave himself up. He went from a baby to a full-grown man and gave himself up. And all his works came to the end with a resurrection that gave us grace and a hope for peace and love and eternity in a place called heaven. All make sense to you? that clear? I spent a lot of sleepless moments this week hoping that that would be the case. Now, I have one more thing for you. And if the refiner is looking for gold or silver, things we make our earrings and our Christian rings and our crucifixes from, silver or gold, you've seen them on your parents, and you probably have some yourself. If they really look hard, they might find what? A diamond in the rough. So I'm going to give you one of these, and it represents a star that you will see in the night on Christmas Eve. That what? What does it do? It marks the place where? Somebody help me? North. That's true. Hold on to those, they're little. But they're the most precious, hardest, solid stone ever made in this wonderful world that God created. And it represents that star that's above the manger, the day Christ was here and born. And with that, you can all ask questions. The homework, your assignment has been given to your parents. Malachi, by the way, this fellow looked a lot like me. He had a beard. He was kind of old and funny looking. And I'll see if I can pull his picture up for you. That's another thing your parents can do, but here he is. Take a quick look at Malachi. Quite a fellow, right?
What's going on under his body?
That's something to do with it. These machines that I have no idea you know much about. It's probably something to do with the connection. But that's what he looks like. And you notice he has a darker skin than most of us? Well, Jesus did too. Interestingly enough, the Nazarene, they called him, had a darker skin than what we typically see in the pictures of Jesus. He was kind of like a blend between the white folks and the darker folks. And he came from an area in the Middle East where if you see people in the Middle East, you'll see people of that same pigment. And so was Malachi. So it's something to keep in mind. And it brings tolerance for everyone. And with that, return to your seats, and I love you all.